So, Frank, how are you doing, bro?
Good, Charlie. How are you?
Winning. So, look,
Perfect.
we're together today to have a lovely little chat about you, what you do, where you come from, really, and just kind of give the people who are watching a little bit of a better understanding of where you got to recently with your business and kind of how you got there and now how you help other people.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I think the first place to start, really, man, is like, what is it you're doing at the minute and how are you helping? Where are we now?
So I've got my company which is called Zenith Sales Academy. So essentially we help people who are stuck in careers that they don't want to be in anymore. We help them show them the light. So there is a world out there of remote sales where there's a lot of, in my opinion, not very good salespeople earning a lot of money that other people could be earning as well. So we sort of extract skills that even if people have got no sales experience, it's not a barrier. It's anyone that has had a job. We extract any skill, anything, any experience that they've got in anything that they've done, and we help sort of turn the dials a little bit and put them into sales positions. So we teach them the whole remote sales space. We teach them everything there is, all the way to a granular detail. We then help with recruitment. So we have a job board with hundreds and hundreds of jobs that are hiring at the moment. And then we help them get in front of those people, apply for those jobs, do well in the interviews, support them in the process, and then place them into those jobs. And then on top of that, we support them in their career to progress and earn more and do better.
Okay, nice. So you training and placing people without experience into sales roles through coaching and mentorship.
Correct. Yes.
Solid. Okay. How long have you been in this industry for now, man?
Personally, or this business?
Personally.
Personally, I've been doing this for just under 4 years. So it was
Okay.
like COVID time, just after that I sort of got properly stuck in. But I was a personal trainer beforehand, which in my opinion is a sales role in itself. So if we include that, then 10 years. But if we're talking solely like sat on Zoom talking to people, four, four-ish.
Okay. It's 4 years. I mean, it's quite an extensive career in the high ticket sales space, definitely.
Yeah, it's grown a lot since I started.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there who really haven't got that wealth of experience. From my own personal experience in this space, being here for
Yeah.
2 years now as well. So going back further, because I feel like it's probably best to start really at the roots of this. So you mentioned you were a PT before.
Mm.
Can you kind of take me back, 5, 6 years when you were really in the thick of it, right? And just outline to me kind of what your day was like day to day, the work you were putting in, kind of your current state of mind around maybe how you felt about your future, about what you were doing day to day. And I just want to kind of get into your head and understand who Frank was 5 or 6 years ago. Because it's really easy for us to sit here on the other side of things, right, and talk about how good it is and how good our lives are and how nice and easy and the changes that have happened. But sometimes it's important to sit back and reflect from the seat that we were before.
Yeah, man. It was I mean, if we go back even further, it's sort of all the same story. So I've not really had a a traditional route ever, really. Like it was always sort of just figuring out the next step, not really planning any steps ahead. So it was, and that was sort of from the age of 17. So I'm 27 now, and 17, I was going down some shitty paths anyway, just doing stupid stuff as a kid, the bum of the school, not doing well at school, all that sort of stuff. And then my mum died, and that sort of like slapped me in the face a little bit. Life just sort of hit me, and sent me even further down the spiral that I was going. So it was just job to job. Obviously, I didn't have a home anymore, so I was like, my dad was a carer for my elderly grandparents, so I couldn't really live with him. We also fell out, and he pretty much disowned me for about 5 years because of the way we just had different reactions to the loss of my mum. So it was like a bad uh, it had a negative impact on our relationship and my entire family. So yeah, I was just sort of free riding solo, sofa surfing, doing whatever I could to just keep my head above water, which I wasn't doing very well at. I was deep into the drugs and the nearly, getting locked up multiple times and selling and just doing all the stupid shit that you shouldn't do in that phase of life. And yeah, it was like that for 5 years until COVID sort of hit, and then I just I went through this realization where it was either going to kill me, to be blunt, or I had to figure it out. And luckily, COVID came. That was my saving grace. So I sort of like used it I was forced to use it as a way to try and improve my life. So I just got back in. I was always into like sports and stuff as a kid, so got back into the gym, running, lifting, training, eating good, reading all the books, doing all the stuff to improve myself, and then yeah, sort of went through that phase, and then there I was. This like I'd sorted myself out. I got off the path I was on, but then I was in the position of right now what? Like I just fucked all my years of school or uni or opportunities that you should have as a youth, and I was lumped as an adult with nothing. So job to job was personal training at the time because I'd been through that process myself. I wanted to help other people do the same, but starting a PT business in COVID wasn't going to be a good idea, was it? Gyms are closed, so I was
Yeah.
doing everything I could to keep my head above water financially, doing other jobs, joined the military twice, like just you know what I mean? It was literally scrapping to find something.
Yeah, doing everything you could and keeping your head above water, I think is quite a poignant phrase because I feel a lot of people will be feeling like they're just keeping their head above water, just in survival mode. What, how are you feeling like internally when you were going through that keeping your head above water phase?
Shit, man. It was horrible. You're all like even today, like even in whatever metric you want to use and define success by, I don't really care. But even in the position I'm in now, I still compare myself. So comparison was always my issue. So when I was in that phase of life where I was keeping my head above water, it one is shit to do that, but then two, when your mates haven't had that, and I don't blame. It's not like I'm blaming the universe and woe is me, but when they haven't had that those 5 years that I had of not really doing much or doing the opposite, they were they were buying houses, they were getting married, they were you know doing well in their careers, they were progressing, they were earning more, they were doing better, and then naturally you compare yourself, right? So not only was I doing shit, I was then comparing myself to people that I knew I could have been in that position if I hadn't had the 5 years of shit.
Hmm. So turning from kind of comparison, flipping that comparison on its head, because comparison is a thief of joy, and the more you compare, the more you despair, right? So what was it that flips the switch and enabled you to kind of go from that comparison or sitting on Instagram, seeing other people kind of doing what you want to be doing? What was it that changed within you to kind of start getting towards what you wanted?
I don't know. That's a bad answer, but I don't know. Honestly, like it's a hard thing to cast my mind back to. I've always had this. My dad always taught me when I was young to never ever give up. So like even if you're running, don't stop running, start walking. Like even if it's slow, just keep moving. Same like I got my black belt in karate when I was quite young, and I think that gave me a lot of discipline to just sort of just keep plugging away, keep plugging away, keep doing it, keep moving, keep going. Um, so when I had that, like when I was in that phase, I didn't know I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. I just kept doing it.
Hmm.
So, and I know that's a bit vague, but in application, that was I continued reading books that I didn't understand. I continued doing courses, watching YouTube videos, and trying to understand this world of okay, there are people that have had the same story as me or similar or had much worse stories, challenges, and they've come out the other end and are doing 10 times better than the people I'm comparing myself to. So I was like, hold on, if I just keep putting one foot in front of the other, something eventually has to work. So that's what I guess I did. Relationships ended. As I said, I didn't have much family. I didn't have much of a friendship group. I just sort of like moved back in with my dad when we'd bundled our relationship back up and my grandparents had passed, and then I was just sort of like started trying stuff. So
Yeah. It sounds to me, man, like you're working very hard, maybe in the wrong avenues, maybe in the wrong vehicles, but hard work is something that you've never not done, right?
yeah,
And I think it's interesting that you say, slow down but never stop, because that's kind of one of my ethoses as well. And just because you're running fast in one direction and you're putting the work in, sometimes doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the outcome that you want, right? Which is interesting because you made that shift. So when we're talking about potentially, working hard is important no matter where you are. You're not going to be able to get into this industry, for example, and not work hard if you want to earn money, right? It's just kind of the nature of the world. But what's your opinion on how can we help people, right, who are working very hard, kind of work out what vehicle is the right vehicle for them? Like, how can we kind of get people to not just work smarter, but work in a more high leverage vehicle? Have you got any opinions on that?
I think if you're working hard right now, and if that is how you define yourself, like again comparing to my dad, he's a gardener, right? He's 68 years old, and he 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's up trees, he's doing stuff. He's absolutely fucked when he gets in from work. He eats and then goes to sleep, right? He works really hard. But his vehicle won't give him the financial freedom that he maybe desires. Luckily enough for him, he absolutely loves what he does. He loves being in gardens and doing that, so he continues. So if, and I was in that position where, like, for example, my longest job was in Weatherspoons, and I worked from like bottom to manager of the spoons in the 3 years I was there. So I always had that like progression mindset. And if you're the same and you're in a job and you're working hard and you're taking every step and you're working longer hours, you're picking up extra shifts, you're taking on extra responsibility, then that's that's all you need. That's all you need. But the thing that's limiting you is you've got the blinkers on and you're seeing the only path as the path you're on. Now to get other stuff or to get the things that maybe you want, you have to take those blinkers off and look outside it. So spend your evenings, spend your mornings, even if you have half an hour on a lunch break spare. Like don't go and stand with the colleagues and have lunch together and unwind. Like research something, look into something, take interest in something. Because it like I know we're talking about sales and that being the path, but there's hundreds of potential paths if you stay consistent on one of them. And the only way you're going to find out the one that's for you and the one that can be the vehicle that gets you to where you want to be is by trying all of them. Right.
Hmm.
So I started marketing companies. I fucking hate marketing. I still to this day cannot stand marketing. I did copywriting, refused to sit and write copy. I tried learning AI and websites and stuff like that. Wasn't ever going to work. I tried my PT business online. I tried my PT business in person. Didn't align. But I kept throwing shit at the wall and until something stuck.
Hmm. Okay. And for people that are maybe slightly hesitant or doubtful around getting started in a new industry or a new vehicle, or just kind of lifting the veil on like the extent of this online space, because there really is so much this online space really has so much to give, right? Financially, freedom, success, like by any metric you want, this really is the place. If you're willing to explore it, it can change a lot of lives, including, anyone who wants to take action directly. What would you say is kind of one of the most, if someone wants to get started, what would you say are like the three main core elements that people need to have as a support to ensure that they see success in the online space, particularly remote sales, as we're talking about that?
Yeah. Three core elements. So you need to have some level of value. And I know that's something you acquire. So a skill, and realizing that a skill is something you gain, not have. So people always talk about the root to everything you want is passion, is doing something you love. If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, that type of stuff, which is great. But if you love, I don't know, making Lego, it's going to be really hard for you to, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's going to be much longer of a process to get the freedom at the other end of it. So yeah, cool, have a passion, but I think when you see benefit from something, it then turns into a passion. I think you can, like, how do we get passions in the first place, right?
Yeah. So it's almost like if you expose yourself to a new way of thinking, expose yourself to learning a new skill, you
Yeah.
might find that you are passionate about that.
Yeah, I mean, passion. Like I always say this, like I've had your passions are just things that you've tried as a kid, really, aren't they? Like I've boxed all my life. I love boxing. Boxing is a passion of mine. I didn't want to pursue the boxing route because I didn't want to wake up with concussion every morning, right? I had a passion for football. I was a good little footballer. I didn't have the opportunities around me or the support around me to go and do a career down football and go down that road. But I still have that passion, right? I have a
Mm.
passion about F1. I did. So these aren't like things that I can now go and monetize or go
It's
and
more about finding like something that you can get behind that is high leverage, that is a highly in demand skill.
because my passion now is enjoying my life. Like my passion is walking my dog in the morning
Mm.
when it's beautiful weather outside. My passion is being able to have breakfast with my girlfriend and not have to worry about anything. My passion is living in the countryside and driving my dream car. Like my passion is my life.
Hmm.
And I think if we detach the outcome from the process and go, okay, I'm optimizing for the outcome. I want the life, and that's what motivates me. Whatever gets you there and enables that is something that you will end up enjoying because you're grateful
Yeah.
for that thing.
Yeah.
So for me,
Totally.
sales was that thing. Like I tried it. I wasn't good at it when I started at all, but I kept going with it and I kept going with it and as I started to see success with it, even in a very small scale, it then motivated me to because it that opened a door for me to like in my example, I was living in my dad's flat, 25 years old, broke, relationships ended, no real friends, no real family apart from my dad. And then I got this job as a salesperson, started being around people that inspired me, this business owner, this mentor. I gained these relationships. It enabled me to move to Vietnam. It enabled me to, do you know what I mean? It like opened those doors for me that even with the very small level of success I had in that space, it opened all these doors. I thought, fucking hell, this is amazing, you know? Because it allowed me to get out of the state I was in. And then it lit a passion for me, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started it as just a job to earn some money like any other job.
Mm.
But as I started to see the benefits, it made me more passionate about it and I put more effort into it.
100%. So it seems like, because, I think we're both very privileged in the sense that my life, I'm passionate about my life in the same way that you are. I'm passionate about spend as long as I fucking want in the gym. I'm passionate about being able to go for a walk in the sun. I was just chilling in the sun now for the last hour or so, speaking
Tell
to a
me, you're
friend.
red as a beetroot.
I know it's just the ginger genes in me, isn't
You
it?
look like
But
that brick behind you.
it's just part of my nature, brother. I can't help it. But yeah, it's nice to kind of hear that you can, if you're not feeling that passionate about your life, you can find something that is going to, if you can find something that is going to get you to that desired outcome. It's all about just taking action towards it and actually finding out that the journey is the passion, not necessarily the
Yeah.
outcome is the passion. And
And
you
if
know,
and if
we
we compare it to the passions that we just mentioned, like my
mm,
boxing, my football, my F1, or Lego in the example we used, I can now do those things and watch those things and play those things and
mm,
go to those things and watch those things whenever I want more freely because I have the availability to do that because I've optimized for the life, not
yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. You've kind of optimized to. I mean, like you're a family man, right? So you got a family, you're building a family now, and a lot of people are going to be having families, right? And just don't have the time to spend with them. So I guess regaining that leverage on your time, regaining that freedom on your time, and kind of where you work will alleviate that and give people access to that passion of having a family. And we mentioned three things, and I picked up a couple of things there from what I heard, like the three most important things to kind of help someone progress in the online space. Granted, it's completely new to a lot of people, very scary, especially initially, because it just sounds like a load of air. But to me, it sounds like firstly, we need a skill and we need to learn a skill. Secondly, we need support and having someone there who's able to guide you through that. And then you also kind of mentioned network a little bit there as well, mentioning other guys in the space and stuff like that. So kind of having a group of people who are kind of on that same journey, able to kind of not only you guided, so not only are you learning a skill, you're learning that skill off of someone who's been there and done it. And then thirdly, you're kind of surrounded by like-minded individuals as well, because this can be definitely be a very isolating space, especially if you're working at home all day. So having that kind of core, I guess, three elements are going to kind of incubate your success quite quickly compared to if you were to kind of go out there and fend for yourself.
Yeah. I think my three would be curiosity. So be open to trying stuff. Don't think everything is a scam or out to get you or this this horrible dark world. Just be
Mm.
curious about it. Trust, but in yourself. So you are the only catalyst that will make anything happen in your life. And hard work. I
Action.
think action. I think they're the three for me. That we could name 53. You know, there's
Yeah, yeah. There's no kind of magic number really
no.
here, is there? It's a lot of different variables all at once. But yeah, I guess if you nail a small portion of them, it really is in this. It's you know, success is in simplicity, isn't it? Really, it's about just making things a little bit more simple and easily manageable and easier to break down. So when you got into this space, what was kind of maybe one of the biggest? And I feel like we've all kind of had this. Like I've got one in the top of my mind about kind of it's more of an internal growth thing. But what was the kind of the biggest wake up call, or like this could be positive or negative, right? But once you first got into this space, what was one of the biggest kind of like eye opening situations for yourself?
I already know how to do it.
Can you expand on that?
So being a PT, working in pubs, being a decorator, joining the military, all the odd jobs I'd had, all sort of felt like when I landed in sales and started doing it, I was like, oh shit. All these things that I'd done that felt redundant and pointless when I'd left them or looking back, I was now so grateful for. I was like, so grateful that I worked in those pubs and managed to have those difficult conversations with people or have that
De-escalation sort of situations and stuff.
yeah, and even the little stuff like the small talk, the Do you know what I mean? Just the little nuances that made me who I am, that I'd
Mm.
garnered over the years of doing random stuff,
Mm.
now meant something. So when I got into sales, like yeah, there's certain things you need to learn and that you won't know, of course, like with any skill. But you already have I already had so many fundamentals that I needed from just being who I'd been and doing what I'd done for the last 10 years. That was then all used properly in a vehicle that would get me the life that I wanted at the end of it. So I think, yeah, just, and I think that's where the curiosity comes into it, that pillar, because if you have that, then you'll start to then realize, like, oh my God, like I actually sort of have what it
Yeah.
takes because of this job, because of that job. So that 10-year career that you've hated every second of the last 10 years, it's like osmosis, you've picked stuff up just being in that role that you didn't know you needed, and now you need it, right? That was a
I,
big wake up call for me.
I didn't expect that answer at all, to be fair. I think that's a really surprising answer, to be honest.
What were you expecting?
I don't know, really. I mean, you're completely right, though. Like, it really is, it's transfer. It's more about refinement, isn't it, really? The skill and being a bit more nuanced, just becoming a better communicator than you already are. That's interesting. And I guess as you've gone along the journey, right, your relationship with money has probably changed. Your perspective on money, your perspective on income. I know mine certainly has. Like last year, I mean, I rarely had a month under 10K, and it really shifts your perspective on firstly what's possible, secondly what money really is, and kind of, I guess, your relationship around stress or like abundance and scarcity. So firstly, I mean, what was the biggest month? And secondly, how did that alter your perception of money? Because I think a lot of people are very scarce, are very unaware of how, like, either investing in yourself or like parting with money or like really going for something that's a little bit uncertain or new can feel like a big financial investment or a big personal investment. But like I say, as that kind of bar raises, your perspective on money changes. So, what's that been like for you?
I think money is just, it's there, right? Money is out there, and it's the same as this hat here. I've not worn this hat for 3 months, but it's just sat there, right? And I could wear the hat, but I want to wear the hat, right? So it's it's always there. Like the money is always there, and it's a completely. And I used to attach so much emotion to money, which was I need every single penny that I have for X, Y, and Z to eat, to live, and I had such then an emotional attachment to it that when it wasn't there, it scared the shit out of me. Whereas if that hat wasn't there now, I couldn't give a shit, right? It's just a hat on my shelf. And I think when you start earning more and realizing that it comes and it goes, it's bigger, it's lower, it's there, it's not, you can always get it back. You'll always be okay. There'll always be more of it. And I think it then gives you the mindset of resources versus being resourceful. So like there's having the resources, having the money, having the whatever that gives you. That doesn't then mean you can, I mean, it makes it easier to do stuff, but it doesn't mean if you don't have it, you can't do it. And what I mean by that is that if you don't have much money right now and you want to go on that holiday or go and do that thing, if I said to you, right, you have to, you want to go on holiday, if you don't get the money together to go on this holiday, all of your family dies. You'd probably find a way to get that money together,
Yeah.
right? You'd pull strings, you'd work it out, you'd figure it out because so much more is at risk. But people see the risk as then not having it, and then that's the only risk there is. There's no family dying, of course there isn't, but it's it's seeing everything as like, okay, if I don't do this thing, if I don't invest in this thing, if I don't do everything I can to make this reality, then you need to make that the worst case scenario possible, right? And if I said to you now, your everything you've ever wanted, the car, the house, the family, the fucking whatever you can think of, whatever your perfect life is, was on the other end of 10 grand and you only had 2 grand,
You'd
how
get it,
you'd
wouldn't
get
you?
it, right?
You'd get it.
You'd find it. You'd do something about it to go and get it.
Mm.
And that's what people don't see. Like when it comes to investing now, I look at stuff as like, what am I missing if I don't do this? Not,
Mm.
not I'm going to miss out or I'm going to miss that 10 grand. What
Okay.
am I going to miss out on if I don't spend that 10 grand?
Okay. So as opposed to like maybe before when you were kind of weren't as financially fluid, right? Didn't have that kind of money that you do now, you're kind of in a mindset of spending as opposed to investing and being more scarce and looking at losing, kind of looking at the downside of losing assets temporarily instead of looking now, you kind of reframe that mindset as, money and time is a tool for me to now kind of look towards the upside. So now instead of looking at what you've got in the bank now as if I spend this, I've lost it, it's now more so like if I don't take this opportunity, I've kind of lost that potential upside towards my future that I want to bet myself in.
Yeah, 100%. Like I know it's difficult to have that mindset when you're in the position like it 100% is, but this is where the pillar two that I mentioned, like the trust in yourself, is so important because I had a conversation with someone the other day in the DMs, and
Hmm.
someone sent me a message saying it was like this big long message, but they're basically saying I've now done 6 courses. Total I've spent is like 20 grand, and I've lost every single penny because all of them were a scam. And I was like, it's impressive to find 6 scams consecutively.
Mm.
Like you've done that's a skill, mate. You've done well there. Just
Yeah.
joking around. But the and I had a bit of a chat with him. But the point I was trying to make was like, did you ever consider that maybe you were a part of the problem?
You
Right?
hadn't applied yourself in the right way.
Did you do every conceivable thing to make that investment worth it?
Hmm.
Because if you didn't, then
Yeah,
it's
it ties back into that third pillar you were talking about, which is kind of action and work as well.
mhm.
Which
Yeah.
is kind of if you are curious enough, you do trust yourself enough to put the work in, and then you're actually able to action that and work towards it. Then it's kind of the recipe for success, isn't it?
Pressing buy isn't then getting the outcome. Like
Yeah, it's the
investing
first
into
step.
it's
Ultimately, it's the most difficult step, really, isn't it? Is taking that jump, but it's the most difficult step, but it's definitely the least of the work.
but it's always confused me why, because every single time I've ever invested or bought anything or put my money towards something that's in my control, I've done above and beyond what was expected of me in that environment. And I can then come out of the other end of it and go, okay, that was worth it. That got me X. Or, okay, I did everything I could. Would I do it again? Probably not.
Mm.
Right. But at least you can come out of it and go, right, I did everything I could with the tools I was given. And then and only then can you consider something a scam or not. But like we've had people that have joined, they've paid, and then we don't hear from them for a month
Yeah.
because they believe that that big, heavy, horrible decision that they made to invest was the was all
The
they
thing
needed
that
to
would
do.
get them there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's almost like they realize kind of a little bit sooner a little bit later down the line that the real issue is in their action.
Yeah. It just opens the door to the opportunity. Like I said, if your dream life is on the other end of 10 grand, but also 10 months of 12-hour days, you know, you're resetting the reality a little bit as to, okay,
Yeah,
it's, yeah, it costs, but then you've got access to something that you then need to go and learn and do, you know?
There's a hidden cost of not taking action though, which is remaining where you are, right? Which is something that I'm definitely not bought into at all. I'm definitely someone who likes to take action, as are you, and I like to see success. And my opinion on that has changed quite a lot recently. Like my opinion on kind of how I see success within myself has shifted, and I will admit that I've kind of bought into that hustle culture a little bit. It got me very far very quickly, and I think that everyone has a different definition of success. Like for me now, it's kind of more about taking the time to enjoy myself and being more present and make sure that I'm actually able to help people and serve people. What's your definition of success? You know, and when I'm saying that, I think it's really important for everyone involved to have a think about success from the frame that if no one outside your immediate circle of, 3 to 5 people knew you, right? So we take away the Instagram, we take away the Facebook, we take away the people down the pub or down the gym. What would your definition of success be if only the people in your household knew you?
3/3 health, wealth, family. That's all I've ever cared about and will ever care about. I want to be able to be healthy and run a 10K or go to the gym and lift my body weight and be active. And my new goal, by the way, is now that I'm going to be a dad, I want to beat everyone at a father's sports day. Like I've literally just got a coach because I want to be like the fucking
Rapid.
the dad that everyone is jealous of. So that's my motivation. Wealth. So any like I'd never want to check a price tag. I never want like there's a rule in our house where we're not allowed to say I can't afford it. It's we frame it to how can I afford it. So if something's too expensive, not we can't do that, we can't afford it. It's okay, how can we make this? How can we do this? How can we get that? And then family. So being able to have time every morning, every evening with my girlfriend and my son or daughter who's coming, my dog, my dad, my partner's family, and the people around me. That is everything I've ever wanted.
A simple life.
I don't care. Like, don't I wear a garment that's ripped? I fucking. This is like from the cheap part of the outlet store with extra discount on. I don't care about anything apart from those three things.
How easy was it for you to get that? Because you were a PT, right? And you were working the split shift of the early mornings and then the late evenings, scraping by, like you said, you're also working multiple jobs at the same time. How easy was it for you? And don't sugarcoat it. Like if it was an absolute slog and it was a nightmare, please tell me. But how easy was it for you to kind of actualize this reality?
I looking back, I've always had it. It was just
What do you mean by that?
well, I always prioritized my health. I always made sure I was healthy. Obviously, not in my self-destruct phase, but like the phase of life where I came out of it, I prioritized my health. I made sure that I'm active every day. I even when I had no money, I would still go and buy like a nice steak or something like that. Even if it meant, which is again, this is not fucking advice by any means, but even if it meant using a credit card and do you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
I'd always and as I started to earn a bit more money, I'd buy maybe something that I couldn't afford. So that I had to maintain the lifestyle of having
Yeah.
that thing or being the person that has that thing. So
Yeah.
an example, like my first car was a Golf GTI, which at the time was fucking stupid to go and do, but it gave me that like it was a mindset thing. I was
Gave you that internal confidence, like you get in that car and you are the person that you are becoming when you're in that car,
exactly
and it puts that fire under your ass to kind of continue to perform.
yeah. And family was the thing I struggled with prioritizing, so that's why I lost a lot of people. But I when I say I always had it, I always had the option of it. I just didn't choose to prioritize it. So and that was at the detriment of wanting wealth. So I'd work and not see people. But now
Mm.
I literally live my life in 3/3, 33% of my attention goes to those three things no matter what. Even if the business was on fire, I'd still make sure that I have my morning, my evening with my girlfriend
Yeah.
and my dog and my stuff. And I'd always make sure that I've been to the gym or exercised or done something that day.
Mm. Mm. Okay. And getting throughout that process of being able to kind of change those priorities, because I know for a fact that 99% of people in probably in the world don't really have that luxury of having that to having that luxury of being able to split their life into thirds. So was it it can seem daunting, but was it a simple process to kind of over 12, 18, 24 months, was it a simple process to kind of integrate new parts of your life and say goodbye to others through getting into the online space?
Yeah, you have to sacrifice for sure. Like I sacrificed. I moved, like so when I said I moved to the other side of the world to go and like lock in and learn and whatever, I moved out of my dad's flat and I went by myself. I didn't know anyone. I left all my friends. I left everyone that I knew. Everyone thought I was stupid or going to go away and like fucking lay on a beach naked, smoking whatever. That's what they thought, and ignoring that and knowing and trusting yourself again, trusting yourself that you're doing the right thing that's gonna benefit you. And then when my stint over there, I decided it was time to come back. I chose to not go back to my home city, and I chose to move to Manchester, which was like a big scary move for me, but it was intentional so that I could. I always struggled with saying no. So if it was like, even if it was just going to the pub for a quick pint or going to do this, I couldn't say no to it. And I knew in order to get the things I wanted and to have the flexibility I wanted, I needed to say no to things. So instead of learning how to say no, which is probably me being a pussy, but I decided to just, it's like when you're on a diet, you take the biscuit, you don't buy biscuits, you don't have even have them in the house, right? It's like
Yeah.
you don't have that temptation anywhere near you. So me moving an hour and a half away was like, okay, if I want to go for a quick pint, I have to drive an hour and a half. That's a physical barrier for me to not have to
Mm.
do.
Mm. It's about being disciplined as well to ensure you get success. It sounds like you kind of need to have accountability as well and have some discipline to help you along the way a little bit.
Well, the version of you right now isn't successful. Not
Yeah,
you, but the person maybe watching
proverbial.
this. Or
Yeah.
if you don't feel like you're a successful person, the version of you isn't successful. So it's
How would
it's
that 2.0 version of you who was successful, how would they turn up? What would they do? What are their habits?
and it's funny that you say 2.0 because I literally 2024 I rebranded myself as Frank 2.0 and that's that's when everything changed. But anyway, so it was yeah, the version of you have to be a different person if you want a different outcome. It's
Mm.
naive to think that the version of you that you are right now that's not successful can be successful with the current actions that you do and the current choices you make. You have to be a different person.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you will maintain and stay on the path that you're on forever. And
Yeah.
that's the only way.
It's a scary process, though, right? And me and you are no stranger to facing fear down the barrel and overcoming it. How would you recommend someone handle that fear? Because a lot of people getting into something new are going to be feeling that fear, that uncertainty.
It is great, man. I I had this conversation with the group the other day. So fear is like I'm sure when you made your first investment, or maybe you didn't, but I certainly did, and I know a lot of people that have done felt fear. Now the people that don't do something and the people that do something are both feeling the same feeling when starting it. They're both scared. They both have that lump in their throat. They both have that what if this doesn't work. They both have that uncertainty about what they're about to do. But the people that go and do well are the people that walk through that fear and see it as a signal that you're doing the right thing. So now I've
Yeah.
managed to tune my brain to go, okay, if I'm scared of something, like starting Zenith, I left a job I was averaging 18 grand a month. We'd just moved to the countryside, so my rent had doubled. We had just got this puppy, had just got this brand new car. We were starting to try for a kid. And then I said to my girlfriend, right, everything that we've planned these finances that we planned off, is all going. I left and I didn't give myself a second choice in starting this business.
Hmm.
And it was when I did it, I remember thinking like, this is scary.
Yeah.
But that was the sign, that was the green flag to me to then do it. So rather than seeing fear as like a red flag now, I now see it as a green flag. And I
You
think,
kind of chase that fear now.
yeah, I search for it daily.
Yeah.
What what thing that what am I not doing because I'm scared of it?
Yeah. I think if something doesn't scare you, it means it doesn't matter enough to you. You know,
It
if
means
you're
it's the current
worried
version of
about
yourself.
something,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're worried about something, it shows you you're in the right place because you're taking some serious consideration about it. And yeah, you're also right as well. That's still the same version of you talking, whispering in your ear, telling you this fear. Because our brains, we're wired, right? It's in our nature to keep us comfortable, to keep us alive, right? That's kind of what our brains are wired for: survival, not growth. So our brain is, you kind of got to fight yourself, haven't you, a little bit to rewire that brain to seek that fear and to overcome it without thinking twice about it.
And it's so much easier said than done. Like us saying, yeah, you just have to walk through it, you have to do it until you're actually in the position. Like I listened to hundreds of podcasts, and people watching this will have heard this hundreds of times. Like walk through the fear, walk through the fear. But then when you're actually stood in the situation where there is a scary thing to do, that's when it matters. That's when you have to do it.
Mm.
Saying it and thinking about it, write in your little diary, like yeah, great, but doing it is the thing that will get you where you
Yeah.
want to be. And you got to compare again what's scarier, staying the same for the next 6 months, year, 18 months, 10 years, being in the exact same position you're in now, or trying something, backing yourself, giving it all you've got, and coming out the other end of it, either a completely different version of yourself, or worst case scenario, you're in the same position that you are now, which you would be if you didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What's worse?
And I
What's
know
scarier?
finance. Exactly.
100%. And just on a final note, if you could give one piece of advice to anyone, and this can be with anything, right? But we can send it around sales if you'd like. But what is one piece of parting advice you'd like to give to anyone listening?
Just trust yourself. Like I lost a lot of trust in myself over those bad few years. And I defined myself as this drug addict, alcoholic, piece of shit person that couldn't do anything. That's how I looked in. When I looked in the mirror, that's what I saw. And only through action did I gain trust in myself again, where I know now that everything will always be okay.
Hmm.
I am the thing that will make sure it's always okay. Not sales, right? Not some vehicle, not some extracurricular thing. Me, I will make sure everything is always all right. And I can only sit in that chair and feel that and have that confidence because I've proved it over and over and over now. So you just have to start stacking proof, and you have to know that you will be like nothing else will get you where you want to be apart from you doing it.
Hmm.
And people have this like, in order to get where you want to be, there is a path in front of you that you have to walk down. And if you're not willing to walk down that path, then you can never expect to get the thing that you want. So you have to choose a different destination, one that has a path that you are willing to walk down. But the worst thing you can do is have a destination in mind, look at the path you need to walk down, choose to not walk down it, and then complain that you can't have that destination. That is the worst thing you can do. And that's what I believe a lot of people do: complain that they can't have the things that they're choosing to not go and do.
Yeah. Not willing to work for what they want. Nice. I think it's been really valuable, man. Really enjoyed this as well myself. It's been quite nice getting to know you a little bit more.
Thank you, man. I'll have to do one with you.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave it there and we'll have something else on in the near future, I'm sure.
Yeah, appreciate it, Charlie.
Splendid, man.
Speak to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.